Well, it's Friday night, and that can only mean one thing. Welcome to the warm-up, brought to you by the Optimist Club of London, as the Owen Sound Attack are in town looking for their second win in 3 nights. They just topped the Kitchener Rangers 4-3 in a shootout on Wednesday evening, while the London Knights, after starting the season 0-2, they're looking for their 4th straight win and trying to get out of the basement of the OHL Western Conference. My name is Greg Bowman. I'm filling in for Paige Martin here this evening as we tee up this Friday night affair in an OHL Western Conference showdown. Looking ahead up front for the Owen Sound Attack, and let's talk about their captain and also the only player on the Attack roster who has been drafted to an NHL squad. Dudas will be centering the top line for the Attack here tonight, but he's also playing with a couple of players that are worth mentioning too, Rick. Welcome back to Budweiser Gardens as we are wrapping up a wild game on your Friday evening between the Owen Sound Attack and the London Knights. The Attack coming out on top 5-4 in overtime. Greg Bowman, the godfather of sports, Pete James alongside, and I mean, that was an instant classic there, Pete. What a wild game. Well, let's take a look at just what exactly went down in this game, as we'll show you some of the highlights. And back in the first period, there was this 3-minute section where it was all Attack leading things off for Owen Sound. Burrows, and that was a nice little one-timer at the top of the circle. Then just a couple minutes later, coming through, and then over top of the glove. I know Brochu would probably like to have that one back. Caleb Pearson with his 4th this season, and then just a couple minutes after that, what an effort by Denny Gore for his 2nd of the year.
That's their first pick from the last draft, Gore.
And then in the second period, oh, how the turntables. The Knights finally get on the board. The captain, Alec Regula, potting one there. That was on the power play. But then back came the Attack again, and this was a bit of a weird play down low. Pop-off wide open. He feeds it over to Barrett Kerwin for his 1st of 2, but then back come the Knights. Cole Timken with his 1st of the season, again on the power play. Then a couple minutes after that, again right on the doorstep, Jonathan Gruden making it a 1-goal game also on the power play, and the Knights were not done there in the second period. Matyev Guskev with a nice finish there and puts the sword in the holster for the celebration. No goals in the third period, but then back comes Barrett Kerwin in overtime. Top of the circles, a picture-perfect shot, as it was the Owen Sound Attack who prevailed over the London Knights 5-4 in overtime. Greg Bowman and Pete James, then Alec Regula, newly minted captain of the London Knights, joining us here for the wrap-up. And Alec, I mean, what do you make of a game like that? I mean, it was just such a back and forth one. Was it as fun to play in as it was to watch? The game knows no bounds, and I think back, that's from the late 80s into the early 90s, but then Max Domi, another type 1 diabetic who came through the London Knights program too, and I'm sure obviously technology advanced a little bit more as far as the treatment of it, but similar protocols I'm sure were in place for Max as well. Did you see some parallels between those two?
Yeah, but you're right, things were a little different, and this kind of Friday night we can have all winter long.
I mean, 9 goals. The Knights get over 50 shots, and some free hockey too in overtime. A little bit of everything here at Budweiser Gardens. For Pete James to my right, I'm Greg Bowman. Thank you so much for joining us here on your Friday evening. We'll catch you exactly 1 week today for OMAC London Knights hockey on Rogers TV. Take it easy. The new year might be a couple of days away on the calendar, but for the London Lightning, the new year starts now as we welcome you inside Budweiser Gardens for the season and home opener of the 2019-20 season of the National Basketball League of Canada. The Lightning hosting the KW Titans in a rematch of a playoff matchup last season where the KW Titans picked up their first series win in franchise history. That negated a three-peat for the London Lightning and also sparked a whole lot of changes for the guys in gold and black. With much, much more on tonight's season and home opener, we'll send things up to the booth. Johnny Urban will be the voice of the London Lightning this year. He's joined by the Western Mustangs women's basketball head coach Nathan McKibben. Guys, what can we expect from this matchup here tonight? Where the London Lightning, on the other hand, are one of the founding members of the National Basketball League of Canada. Owner Vito Frisia, one of the founders, as they adopted the Premier Basketball League along with a couple of new teams. London included in that bunch. In the 8 years that the NBL has been in action, the London Lightning have won 50% of the championships. 4-time winners out of those 8 years. The Lightning have been crowned, and those were both on back-to-back occasions, most recently in 2017 and 2018.
and of course the three-peat was thwarted by these very KW Titans.
And here we go for some Sunday afternoon hockey between the Niagara Ice Dogs and the London Knights. Find Evangelista, back to Skinner. Skinner finds McMichael. McMichael with the shot off the shoulder of Scrilia. McMichael, backhand pass. Evangelista scores! Luke Evangelista opens the scoring. 1-0 Knights. The slot in with a shot. And it couldn't get through. It's blocked by Liam Foodie, and now the Knights have a 3-on-1. Foodie joined by Regula and Nelson. Regula, oh my goodness, what a save by Christian Sprolia. Absolutely robbing Alec Regula on a one-timer. Dressed in red right there. McMichael at the top of the slot from Merkley. He avoids a check, gets tripped up. No arms up on the play. Hunter Skinner now controlling. McMichael back to Skinner. Over to Merkley. Merkley looking into the slot, can't find Regula. Skinner with the shot, he scores! The Knights have some speed. Connor McMichael trying to get around an defender. Spinning, passing, it's loose in front, and it's in the net! Luke Evangelista with his second of the afternoon. It's 3-0 Knights. The London Knights playing their third game in 3 days. Pick up points in all three of them. 2 wins for Brett Brochu this weekend, and not a bad way to end off a phenomenal week of London Knights hockey. Knights over the Niagara Ice Dogs 6-2.
Mustangs in transition. Kovac throws it down with authority as the Windsor, Ontario native extends the lead to 14 points under 2 minutes to go. Time out, Waterloo Warriors. Farkich on the far side, driving down low, drawing some coverage. Kicks it back out to Shadu, who does the same thing. Back out to Farkich for an open 3. Gets it to go! 3 straight threes for the Mustangs. For the second time in this game, they lead by 9 points now. Gales will take over on the 35-yard line after the Rouge, though. They send the receivers in motion.
Reverse.
Double reversal. Back to Nate Hobbs. They're looking downfield for Pendergast. He caught it after a bobble. What a play from Pendergast. Trips left now for the Mustangs, but they hand it off to Cedric Joseph, who finds a hole. Down to the 10. Joseph into the end zone. Touchdown Mustangs. Last year's Yates Cup MVP opens the scoring here on your Saturday afternoon. Mustangs lead early. Landers is going to throw. He's looking to the right side, into double coverage, picked off. Mackenzie Ferguson. He's going to return it to the 30. The 20 now. Mackenzie Ferguson, touchdown Mustangs. That's your Russ Jackson Award nominee, and he's got the Mustangs' second major of the game.